I'd like to welcome everybody to the Google to the Mac session. My name is Howie DiBlasi. My background real quick is 20 years as a classroom teacher, 10 years as a computer store owner retail, and then I left education and I found out because I wanted to teach in a college there's 3 magic letters you need after your name. And if you don't have those 3 magic letters, they kind of show you the door real quickly. So I finished my doctorate in educational technology, and instead of in a college, I ended up in Durango, Colorado as their CIO for 14 years, and then did 3 years as professional development. So we are going to give you lots of ideas today, and as we go through, you're going to see some very different things you probably don't know about. 24 hours from now, this exact PowerPoint I will upload on my website, and it will be listed there under presentations. I will also list it under workshop. The photo on the right is my second passion, NASCAR, and we have some folks that are going to be joining us in remote ISTE in a few minutes. Everything on my website is licensed under Creative Commons. Basically means you can take that, use it, share it, change it, use it for professional development, just leave the attributes of my name in there of the original work. Conference links are here if you'd like to follow on Twitter. In the back channel, it's H. DiBlasi. There's about 3,000 people that follow me, and I try to give you 3 times a day ideas and new things that you can do with applications in the educational realm, research, and information for teachers and administrators and technology coaches. You probably don't know it, but there are lurkers in the room. Marie, tell them who the lurkers are.
We have quite a few people from all over the world. We have people from Germany, we have people from Australia, Tacoma, Washington, Massachusetts. We've got a lot of people from all over. Like, they're very excited to be here. Remote is going very well. They're loving it. And classes in Murray, Connecticut just checked in. So we've got a lot of people from all over.
Excellent. So I took the definition of a lurker, and notice the last part that says, but rarely or never participates actively. Well, we're going to change that. We're going to try and involve those folks. So I'd like to do this kind of as a shout out to all of them. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and what I'd like everybody to do is just to say, hello, lurkers. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, lurkers.
What did they say back?
We are not. Slap them loud. Hello, ISTE. Hello, lurkers. Hello, ha ha ha. Say what? Hello, locals. Hello, San Diego. Hello, hello, hello. We're here. Hello, world. Hello, ISTE in San Diego. Hello, Nashville. Hello, non-lurkers. Hello, real live audience. They're real. Applause for real. I love that.
Excellent.
Praise my show.
So we're going to involve them as much as we can. These are folks that are participating in something new called remote ISTE from literally around the world. So these are shots people have sent me, friends have sent me and said, this is what I felt like when I left. You gave me so much information. I would like to share with you that what I'd like you to take away today is I'm going to show you probably about 35 new things that you did not know about Google. But I'd like you to take 1 or 2 of those back that you can use and then share the rest with other people in your district, or maybe there are people in your professional learning community. So I'm going to try to implement as many as I can, and the first thing I want to do is a critical thinking skill. So what we need to do is, you have a problem. I want to know exactly down to the 10th of a mile, those of you that have laptops or smartphones or Android, whatever, I'd like to know down to the 10th of a mile of how far you came to come to ISTE. Now, the folks that are in our remote audience, I would like them, we're all going to go to today's meet and put our answers in there. The folks that are in the remote audience, make sure they type the word remote when they log in there with their miles. So those of you that are here, you have to figure out how to come up with that answer. And then the website is right there, it's today'smeet.com, travel listing 12. And then the second part of the equation is we need to find the answer. So you not only have to put in your answer, you have to monitor through all those things you're going to see on the screen. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that, and we're going to see who came the furthest. So again, figure out however you think you can calculate the distance that you came within a 1/10 of a mile to ISTE, to San Diego, and then go to today'smeet.com travel ISTE 12. When you get there, it will say, who are you, basically. Put in your name, and then type in the amount of miles that you came, and we'll register. So if you came from Denver, Colorado, you might put in something like 1021.2 or something like that. Now, while you're doing that, I am going to move on to the next slide, and we're going to come back to that in a few minutes. And I'm going to ask from the audience for you to stand up and down and see who came the furthest. And then Marie will look at the remote piece and see how they came the furthest. Just make sure, folks, in our remote audience, that you put the word remote so that we know. So I'm going to move on while you're looking at that. This is what the today's meet looks like. Put join. Put your name in there. It says talk, join, and then put in your answer. So I'm going to start out first with, this is a challenging session to do because I've done it for the last 2 years. This is the third year, to kind of take out things that I have shared over the last few years, but to add new things for you. So as I go through these, the first thing I'd like to share is Will Richardson, about a year ago, did a blog post, and it basically said something to the effect of, can you Google me? And about how we need to teach our students to have a positive image about themselves. Because HR departments, colleges, many people are looking at the things that they can do, Google of a student's name, and finding inappropriate things on Facebook that could cause them to lose a scholarship or possibly not even get into the college. So I'm going to show you some ways that I found in Google that you probably don't know about, and to me it's a little bit scary what you can find. And there are 4 sites: People, Spokeo, 123 People, and Spy. They are paid sites, but they do give you free information. The scary part to me is the information that is available on the internet that I didn't even know. It not only knows where I live, it knows my address, it knows who my mortgage is with, it knows how much I paid for my house, and it has a photo of my house that's on there. So if you want to have some fun sometime, go to either one of these, and when you download the PowerPoint, those are active links that you can click on to go there, and you'll probably see also a picture of your house and the information that you didn't know about. Now look at the bottom of the screen, and I didn't know I had a criminal record, but evidently I do, because it says on there you can find Howie DiBlasi's criminal record on there. That was a nice little ploy to get me to click on something and say, oh, I need your MasterCard, we need $42 to do that background check for you. So be aware of those, and it comes up and says criminal record check that's on there. Something new that started in about 4 months ago now with Google is called the Knowledge Graph. And I've been testing this for probably over 2 months, and it's pretty amazing the way that the information works now, that it knows the difference when you type something in. For example, it comes up and you put in information about a specific thing, such as information on Taj Mahal. Well, did you mean the band, or did you really mean the Taj Mahal? And it knows by giving you a new web page, and you may not have seen this, but on the left is the information, on the right is the information about the Taj Mahal, and another piece that will shoot out on the side of it. So I said, I'm going to test this. I'm going to type in airport. Because what I was really looking for was the Apple airport. And up it came with that information about the airport, and also in my links it had additional information about the Apple airport. So it's a new way of searching and getting better information for us. A piece that I use in a graduate class that I teach, and we did this yesterday and just had a great time, and it is a class that we teach kind of bringing in Disney aspects about designing an attraction at Disney World. And you have to design one specifically, and it's project-based learning in STEM. So this was kind of a piece that came out of it, but part of that in the STEM piece is to do some research that is available on information from Google and other websites. And what we do specifically is we go to the Google patent search. And it's pretty amazing when you go to the patent search of how you can tie in STEM, math, science, and many different curriculum areas of putting those things together on it. So by going through that, I came up with some links on here, some very interesting patents. And I'm going to kind of make this as interactive as we can. Marie, we're going to give a question here in just a second. It has information of the actual patent that has been scanned in. In this case, it shows here. This is a patent from 1963. And since we are very close to this area, does anybody happen to know what that is a patent for? Matterhorn. 1963, that was filed. Interesting enough, if you go to many Disney parks, that same technology that patent was applied for in 1963 is still used today, where it's the round tubes for the coasters. And the patent is there, and you can see there's about 20 pages of that. This is an interesting one that was actually done quite a few years ago, and it's actually for a flying saucer, which Disneyland tried a number of years after it opened, and it was a failure because they couldn't figure out how to get the thing to float. There's something new that just opened at Disneyland called Cars Land. Anybody, it's hard for me to see because these lights, but I'm trying to look. Has anybody been in the last couple of weeks and done the Luigi tire thing? It's this same patent done. It's kind of a hovercraft where you move around. I am amazed, I'm a Disney fan, Disney geek, that people would wait 4 hours to go on that ride. And most people said, no, did you wait 4 hours?
No.
Oh, okay. Anybody in here wait 4 hours to go on that ride? Because you deserve, credit of some kind. I wouldn't wait that long, but that's the technology that the students can look up how it was done, and you can tie in the math and the science pieces that are on there. This is a shot from the actual ride itself that's new. This is another website that I have the link on that's called Global Patent, which you can also tie into it. And even though some of these are not exactly Google things, I have found them on Google. So this is another link in the place that you can go to. Google Trends is something that is used a lot of times in current event classes, and people don't know about it. What it allows you to do is to go and look at trends, up to 5 different trends that you can put in there. So you can compare worldwide things, you can compare companies, you can compare a particular trend that is going on as far as fashion if you want to. And this is what the site looks like, and what you can do is at the bottom, they have the current things that people are looking at. So what I wanted to do was to put some comparisons in there between 2 companies, Apple and Microsoft. And they give you a chart. So again, you can tie this back into STEM if you want to. You can use it in math and science. And that website, again, was called Google Trends. So when you download this, each one of the links are hot. It will take you to that. And again, it will be on the Dr. Howie website. And it'll be there about 24 hours from now, about 12 o'clock tomorrow. So as we move to the next one, I travel every other week. I'm home back in Austin, Texas for 1 week where I teach graduate classes via video conference and then travel the next week. Google goggles I was familiar with about a year ago, and it's amazing how much better that it's getting. I always get worried though if you've ever looked at some things that are like Google Labs, which is now gone. Every once in a while, the really good things, at least I think the really good, disappear. So this may get what they call graduated, or it may continue. So the Google goggles allows you to take my phone, so as I'm walking around, I can actually point it at something. It can be a barcode, it can be a scanner, it can be a building, and it's building that database up and will give me information about that particular piece. If I walk into a store, I can take my phone, hold it up to the barcode. There's a new piece they're developing, from what I understand, it will tell me where the best price is. It's called Google Goggles. Interesting enough, you can't get it for the iPhone that I know of unless somebody has it on theirs. It is available for iPhone now? Okay, I've got mine on Android. Is it called the same thing?
It's just in the Google app.
It's okay, the Google Apps, okay. Google Scholar Search. Most people don't understand this when they use it the first time and they type some things in, and what happens is they type their name and it comes back and said no information found. These basically are .edu sites that they're actually looking at. So keep that in mind when you do them. So if you're looking for research information from different universities, you can give that university address if you want to. If you're looking for something from Oxford or Harvard or wherever the university happens to be, you can put that information in there. And that is called Google Scholar. I'm putting that one. So here's one that I did. I was doing something on Florida State, trying to find some things on special education, and I wanted some research that was done at different universities on special education, special needs. So we can pull that up. The Google book search has changed quite a bit over the last few years. It was originally that Google scanned and they were graphics. So when you went in there, you basically saw a graphic page. In the last few years, what has happened is Google, and there have been many lawsuits over this, and I believe from what I understand they've settled most of them, but what has happened with the Google book search now is they are actually scanning the text. That has brought about a new piece in Google that's called the Ngram Viewer. It now allows you to actually scan the text within a book. So you can put a topic or words in there, it will go into all the books that are in there, you can find particular things, and in this case it will show you where the instance of that is in the book in a chart or graph form. So it's a pretty powerful piece on the way that they have that together. This is one that I just did on a topic of technology. Notice, maybe hard to see, but across the bottom there's a timeline that's on there, and it will tell you that when that particular piece was very popular in that time period. The product search, this is my wife's favorite site. Whenever she's looking for some things, if you haven't done this, when you're ready to buy some things, and they keep refining this, and there are other sites that do this, but you basically go in there and whatever that product is, and it's interesting to me, about every 2 months, it seems to change, where it will show me different stores one time, and then I come back. In this case, I was looking to purchase the new PC MacBook Air type of computers that Asus and Samsung and different ones were making, and I was shopping for it, and it was showing me where they were located. And then I went back about 2 weeks later, and it looked different than this page. So it is evolving, it is changing, but it's a way, so if you're looking for a computer or tires or whatever it happens to be, it will look around where you live, it knows your location by your computer where you are, and will give you current information on that particular location. So this one is called Nudge Your Neighbor, and in our remote group, Marie, we're going to give the instructions here in just a second for what I'd like them to do. I would like you to be able to go through this and attach, and those of you that are live here, to these few photos you're going to see, one word, and it's kind of like the thing of what's the first word that comes to your mind, and then I'm going to ask for a few responses. In our remote, Marie's going to monitor what comes up, and we're looking for one word that describes the photo. So when you see the photo, go ahead and share that with your neighbor. One word that describes that photo. Share that with your neighbor. I know we have microphones there, but I'm just going to have a couple people shout out a couple words that you heard, and then Marie, I'll have you read back to me in the audience.
Cute.
Cute, fun, sweet, penguin, giggles, friendship. I couldn't hear that. I'll go on to the next one. Share with your neighbor. Marie will go ahead and start reading back, and then I'll ask this group.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Friends, touchy friends, hug big. Okay, just love, sweet. I love you so much. Snuggles. Big.
Okay, how about a couple things? Something maybe you didn't hear there that you just read. Adorable. Innocent. Contrast. Okay, let's do this one. This one's called Tell Me a Story. Now, the way we normally do this, I'm going to try, and if it's not working, I'm going to move on. I would like to have 3 brave volunteers, that are close to that microphone right there to jump out in the aisle, and you're going to help me along with a little creativity exercise. So 3 people right there. This is your cue. You get up, you walk to the microphone. 3 people. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Thank you very much. And I'm assuming that mic is hot. Can we do a mic check to make sure it's okay?
Hello?
We got it. Okay, here's the deal. You're going to see a photo. Now what I've done is using Google Images. And I'm putting the pieces together. You need to tell us 30 seconds of a story. I'm going to let you guys decide who goes first and who goes second. Then the second person can either continue that story, or you can tell us a whole new story if we want to. So decide there for about the next 5 seconds who's going first. I'm going to go first. She's going first. You got one?
Yeah.
All right. Here is the picture. Tell us the story. What's really going on?
Okay. I was walking down the street and I saw my brother for the first time in 10 years. He was behind a police shield. I ran out to him to hug him, and I got myself in a great deal of trouble.
Okay, person number 2, you can either continue that story or you can say, no, that's not really what's happening here. Here's what's really happening.
My brother turned out to be a liberal. He's just really upset. Because I was standing around looking at me. So I kept trying to push him away. Thank God the shield was transparent. So everybody else could see that underneath I was actually hand-signing him because he was dead.
Okay. That's enough. That's enough. I don't know how you would top that. Either you continue that story or you start a whole new one. Go ahead. Mike? Go ahead. We lose the mic? All right, go ahead.
I was at a demonstration for Gay Pride Day, and all of a sudden I saw my partner. I didn't really understand and know that he was a police officer. I've been talking to him about coming out for a long time, and I thought maybe this would be a great opportunity to walk out and
I don't have the prize, but you win. Go ahead and sit down. Now, that is a quick example of how you can take Google Images and put a piece together and tell a little story. You can do that in any content area, finding the images. Now, we don't have time, but I'm going to ask for 2 people in just a second. Here's another one you can tell a little story. I want you to tell your neighbor right now. Tell your neighbor what's going on in this photo. Hang on, we're doing technical. Well, I'm going to plug it. Let's see if the music goes quiet.
Jerk it out real quick.
Leave it out.
Go ahead and go back online.
Do you want me to plug it back in?
Yes, sir, you'll have to for yours.
All right. All right, sorry about that. Marie, go ahead, and I'm going to pull this back up.
They're saying across the world is the new Beverly Hills buildings. Social media was all about, and I'm sorry.
Well, that's the next one. This is another one. Go ahead.
Excuse me, what's
Okay. And then this last one, I think is the best example where you don't need to tell the story. It is so powerful of what is happening in the photo that Dad is back there and the little boy is going to tell Santa what he wants for Christmas. So those are the kind of things you can do with some exercise to pull that through. YouTube in education is a great new piece that has come together, and I'm not sure what's going to happen now because they were having with the remote problem with the audio, so we'll see. But an example of this is where you can go to the YouTube in education, and there are classifications that are up there for you in different areas of secondary, higher education, and elementary. And you can click on each one of those and see those pieces as they go through. This happens to be a Lego piece. And I'm just going to rely on Marie or somebody to tell me if the audio is coming through okay when we go to this next example that's on here. So we're not hearing the, at least we're not hearing
Measuring the site was done with great precision, meaning they were very careful. They took rope and marked off the base of the pyramid, and it was right away to square. Leveling the site was also done with great care. The other churches around the site filled in the water. They could tell by the water's level whether or not the ground needed to be higher or lower than the sides.
I don't have time to show the whole thing. The link is there, but it's very creative what they did with Legos, and they're actually telling about physics and the different principles involved in that of how they move the rocks and things and built the pyramids. So what I added in addition to this, some additional things for YouTube and education, YouTube Live, YouTube Teachers, and I know there is TeacherTube that's out there. I think they've improved this tremendously, and they're semi-professional in nature, where filmmakers work with schools and students to put pieces together, and that's an example of that. Another thing that I recently came across is a website on Google that lets me search for stories that are basically what teachers are doing with Google and education, or with different applications of how they're teaching different topics and subject matter. And you can search the story. It's called Search Stories, and the original link is there at the top of the screen. So I added to these because some people have said, well, I'd like some more things. So in this particular one, the alternatives, I do have a number of these in here, and these are alternatives to YouTube in the classroom, because a lot of classrooms it is blocked. I found in most cases the YouTube education is not blocked. There is a site, I don't have it on here because it's not really a Google thing. There's an online file converter that I use instead of Zamzar. It allows you to take the address of the YouTube, upload it, converts it from Flash into whatever format that you want, and then you have it on your computer to play it back, rather than relying on going to the website and playing YouTube. And again, it's called Online File Converter, and it converts, there's about 37 formats. A number of them in video. You can move a Word document to PDF and so on. So these are some other alternatives that are on there. And then if you're looking for some tutorials about the Google Apps piece, these are a number of YouTube and other videos that are done on, you're learning some of the new features of how to do a survey. You don't know how to do that. So these are videos, that is a link directly to that site that will give you a number of those to be able to use. The curriculum projects, I'm going to show you some of these now of how we can actually take some Google things and use them in different content areas. In the short amount of time that we have, I don't really have a chance to put all of these together, but we'll go through a number of these. One of the ones that I think is really the most fun is with Google Earth and Google Maps. And what it allows me to do is something called a mashup. So I just would like maybe somebody to tell the whole group, what exactly is a mashup? What do they do when they say a mashup? What is it? I couldn't quite hear it. Okay, it's a combination where we take bits and pieces and put those together. Sometimes it's in video, sometimes it's in a web piece that we do, sometimes it's in a web page. So these are fun kind of things that you can do like after school and so on, or at home if you want to. There are some that are on there. The second one that says 17 Google Map mashups to waste away your day. There are things like finding where UFOs have supposedly landed in sightings. The other one, the top one, has 100 different ones. It is an older one from about 2008, and most of the links still do work, but there's lots of good ideas that are in there for each one of those. 2 or 3 things that I do when we're trying to do a creativity workshop, and I work with a lot of school districts in year-long programs where I come in 2 or 3 times a year. I also come in by video conference. And one of the things that we like to do to see the critical problem solving and creativity is to let them build a map. So 2 that I have on here that we've used that work really well, it's called Map Builder, and it actually lets you build that map. So maybe you're doing the difference between a hurricane and a tornado, and you're working maybe you're doing a combination of a global piece of some kind. So you can build the map in that particular area. This is a list of some of the things that have happened and been done. This is where a number of them on there, like the UFOs, if you want to see that. But the one that has been the most beneficial, I did some work in New Orleans about a year ago, and one of the things we got discussing was, well, what is this? Why did things flood so much? Well, if you actually pull, this is the one on the 7 Wonders of the World, and you click on that, it plays a little movie that's been updated, so you click on the top and see that. The second one is where we can actually simulate a flood, and there is a little control knob at the bottom with level, and we can set the sea level, whatever it happens to be, at 0, 1, 2, and we can move it up and down as a flood would happen. And it's a very, very graphic piece of allowing you to see what actually happens, and especially with students visually, to see what happens when the amount of water changes in there. And again, that simulates a flood. That's a direct one to it. Fly a Plane is one of the Google pieces, and the other one, there's a lot of the webcams if you're looking for one. So maybe you're teaching something in Paris, you can actually find a webcam. So that's what that particular one happens to be. The map links that are listed here, I have several of those, so whatever you're doing, whether it's Google Earth or Google Maps, if there's any IT directors in the room, one of the things that I faced in Durango when I was the IT director was Google Earth created a lot of problems for us because of the bandwidth that it used, where Google Maps is not nearly as bad. So it's up to you how you want to do it. So I've listed both Google Earth and Google Maps pieces that are listed on there. This is a project that I do with a lot of schools of trying to get them, rather than doing a writing piece, that we actually put a story together and tell it. And one of those examples, and we use this on here, is using the virtual push pins. And if you haven't done that, what you can actually do in the Google Maps is put little push pins in there, and you can put data in there, you can put a video if you want, you can put a podcast. And so what we've done in this particular one, this happened to be a project that's been going on for the last couple of years on the Lewis and Clark Trail. And the idea is to put the push pins in there and tell the story, but we leave it up to the students on the way they want to do that. They put groups of 3, put the pieces together, tell the story, put the virtual push pin, and the different colors represents different time periods. So it's a great way to do it. There's instructions on that website of how to put that together and how to tell that particular piece when you're doing that. The next one is interesting ways to using Google Maps in the classroom, and there's Steph has got all of the links that are on there if you want to do that, to do the research piece in with Google Maps. The Map Maker is the alternative one that I referred to on the other one. It lets you actually make your own maps.